I met a gypsy.
And I'm like consistently finishing like 4th, 5th, like not really. I've got a couple podiums, but wasn't there consistently. But Ivan Ramirez at the time was like finishing like 15th.
Dude, nicest dude.
Nicest dude ever.
Oh, dude, I love that guy.
So he had just came over from works and that kind of stuff, and trying, his hand.
So he used to hang out a bunch with Josh Strang.
Yeah.
And I used to live with Josh Strang when I was in America, and he was like always around. And that guy's like, man, I miss that dude. Actually, I haven't thought about him in a long time. He's such a legend.
Such a legend. So he like his results weren't really up to par yet in Hare and Hounds. So they flew Toby over. So it's just essentially like a battle of whoever does the best now is kind of getting that role,
that spot on the team.
And it wasn't really spoken, but Chris kind of let me know. It was like, hey, look, Kurt's leaving. Like, you're doing the best. If you do well, like, you could potentially have a shot at the factory team. And so I'm like, okay, well, now I'm going to prove it to everyone that I deserve this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go faster than all of them. And dude, my helmet cam at that race was a shit show. I was so out of control. I was doing in Kurt's documentary, like there's literally a video of me passing him like wide open, drilling a rock pile and almost dying. Like I should have gotten injured so many times before. Toby's there. It's his first time ever racing a national Hare and Hound, and he's like in top 3 right away.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting back there, just a squirrel fighting for it, and I'm right behind. I had just got past actually, so he was in 3rd, I was in 5th, and come across this valley in California, specifically Lucerne Valley. It's such a sketchy place because it's just such a destroyed area.
Yeah.
So they'll run you across like this big gnarly mountain, super rocky and technical, and then across the valley, but they'll run you cross grain, so all the water runs this way, so you're just like drilling rain ruts, rocks, bushes, everything, just gnarly work to go across this, but you could haul ass, and if you have enough balls to just hang on to it, you can make up a ton of time and you can just blast across
that
this
ain't
valley.
Me.
Dude, looking back now at how freaking dicey, like how many risks I took was stupid. Anyways, so I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, I got to win. Like, I got to go do well because I deserve this spot. I got to whatever. Toby's just racing the race. He crashes and breaks his neck. When he crashed, he got a concussion. He picked himself up, and he was, like, leaning on the bike. And I come by, and I'm off the track because I'm chasing the dude in front of me. So I'm off the track trying to stay out of his dust, and and I glance over to my left, and I see him there. He's already picked himself up, so I'm like, he's not on the ground. He's not like, it's not dire, so I'm not going to stop. Look back in front of me, boom, drilled a gray rock in gray dirt behind a gray bush. Like, just never even say. In fact, I had to like frame by frame it to even see what I hit. Over the bars, smash, kick myself in the forehead, like big crash. And I'm laying there, and I immediately know I'm effed. Like, my back's broken for sure. But I have all feeling I'm just going to lay here. I'm just chilling. Josh Knight, who's a really good, like, personal friend of mine, he's right behind me. And that's the other thing, too, is, like, I was on a 2-stroke, so I'm like, I got to be the number 1 2-stroke rider. So Josh comes up. Me and him had gnarly battles. He's on a 2-stroke as well. So he stops his race, and he's like, hey, man, I'll stay here with you and all that kind of stuff. Toby comes riding up to us. And we look at him, and Josh is like, oh, did you crash too? And he goes, yeah, I don't really know where I'm at. I'm like, oh, well, you're in California. He goes, huh. Lays his bike down. He's sitting on his bike, and he's going like this. He's like, yeah, my neck's kind of stiff. And we're like, well, I mean, you seem fine. Like, you got a concussion, and you don't know where you're at. You don't know what you're doing, but, you seem like you're all right. And then he starts, like, walking off through the bushes, just, like, randomly. And I'm like, hey, Josh, you should probably grab him. Bring him back. And he was like out there trying to look for his GoPro. So somewhere out there in the California desert, there's a video of Toby breaking his neck. Never been found yet. I don't think anyways. But anyway, so like we're literally sitting there together. They fly a helicopter in, and when the paramedics get there, they see that like Toby's, in a little bit rough shape, neck pain, doesn't know where he's at, whatever. Like, hey, could be serious. Let's strap you in. I'm like, I can't afford a helicopter ride. I got no insurance that's going to, I have insurance, but nothing that's going to cover this. I know what's wrong with me. I have all my feeling and all that kind of stuff. Just drive me in. So they put me into a side-by-side, and I held myself up with my arms like this for 20 miles all the way back to the pits. My buddy threw me in the back of my van and then drove me all the way home. Well, technically, I drove to the Victorville Hospital first and got an x-ray. And then they're like, oh, it's a stable fracture. I compress fractured my T12, L1, and L2. Like, you'll be all right. So then I went home. And then Toby gets to the hospital, and it's like, oh, you like burst fractured your neck. You're effed. You got to be in Halo.
With bricks hanging off the thing.
To decompress his neck to wait for surgery because you don't have like American health insurance. So,
dude, that cost him so much money,
bro.
Has he told you about it?
Well, yeah, he like had to sell his boat and like all of his stuff. Like it cost him like what is like 200 something grand or more.
Insane,
yeah, like
bro.
Insane. Plus, like the heli ride. The heli rides are like 50 grand or something. Yeah, it was insane. Gnarly.
And then you're paying American dollars with Australian dollars, which that's like no lube.
Right. Yeah, just getting F. So, but what's crazy too is like, so he finally goes home, gets the surgery, recovers, comes back. We come back essentially near, like I came back obviously a little bit earlier, but then that same year, he's supposed to race on the KTM factory team in Baja, which, you know, I'm down there in Baja with Anthony De Basilio. He's like showing me the ropes. I go down there essentially as like a dude to keep him company. He's got to drive all throughout Mexico at wee hours of the night, so we need someone there to keep him company working in the workshop. But I'm like motivated. I want to help, so he's letting me help work on stuff. We're changing lights. We're doing this kind of stuff. I go testing with him and Kurt and Kendall and like all these different people. And so I'm like learning all this experience of how a professional factory team operates, how a professional mechanic works on things, all this kind of stuff. Kurt's there explaining to me how he's pre-running. He's walking me through things, like showing me the ropes at the race, like, you know, all this different kind of stuff. To backtrack too, like I didn't really know Kurt for that long, but when my first ever pro race, I hole shotted. Well, actually he hole shotted and then I passed him.
That's so sick.
But it was the first time he came back on a back after Dakar, so he felt like he was riding a mini bike essentially. So I passed him. And from that point forward, he like kind of not took me under his wing, but he would show me a little bit of like respect and give me advice. And then after that race, when I broke my back, I went to the next race with a buddy, and I hopped out, and he looks at me and goes, "Did you learn your lesson, superstar?" And I was just like, oh, dude, like those little moments, and just to see how nice of a person and good person that Kurt was. And then also to like have that level of like, you know, sting to him too, like that's gonna teach you a lesson type thing. But he was also doing that with everyone, you know. He just was doing the same thing. He wanted to help people become better people and better racers and things like that, and he did it for Toby, he did it for me. So you know, I'm down there, I'm trying to learn from him, I'm learning from Anthony. Toby comes over, he's a fill-in rider, so he's not going to race, but if someone has an issue, he'll hop on the bike. So he's pre-running with Kurt and all that kind of stuff. And and then, you know, so like I meet Toby as we break our spines together in the middle of the California desert, and the next time I see him, we're down there in Baja, and Kurt passes away. You know, he has a crash down there, and hits the animal, and it's like we're both present at kind of the most defining moments of both of our lives. It's such a crazy, I get goosebumps again, but it's like such a crazy thing because I didn't know Kurt for like super deeply or for very long, but the impact is just massive. Yeah, like it's massive. And I'm always repping a Kurt Caselli sticker, and like there's a picture of me and him side by side on a start line. It's still my profile picture on Facebook. I have this giant poster of me and him on a hole shot, like drag racing down. It's just me and him out in front, and it's like my most prized photograph and stuff like that. And I didn't really know him very, very long, but it's like he had such an impact. And I think the same for Toby. It's like he had such an impact. He got, and you know, Kurt was going into rally. Toby got that transition into rally and things like that. And it's like, I said it to him. He finished his second place at the Dakar. I finished third. And we're sitting there at the final podium waiting to go. And I was like, look, dude, I don't want to be corny. Like, I know we're always joking around, busting each other's balls and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to be corny, but it's kind of like one of the most important moments of my life.
Yeah.
Like,
it's cool you said that.
Like me, like, I've looked up to Toby for so long. Like, she's such a gnarly dude. And now I get to share the podium of the biggest race and like my biggest accomplishment in life with this dude.
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.